everybody.
There you
It
go.
is Thursday, and I am Marie Brownhill. I am here with Jermaine Watson, Will Wofford, Keith Shevlin, and Jason McCammon, and we are putting together a show for you tonight.
Putting one together.
We sort of have an idea. Maybe.
I mean, naturally, we always have an idea. Roughly 10 minutes before we begin, we have something, right?
We would have written something, but then we'd be going, we'd be crossing the picket line, and
Yeah.
Union struck on. So.
If there was the podcast that had number one for improvisation, this would be it.
I feel like Will's got like this. His low frequency is pumped up. He's either trying to put us to sleep or seduce us.
So anyway, we're gonna go on from that, and then we're just gonna go on with this beautiful bean footage because Jesus wept.
Oh, here I'm here. I'm on the show.
I think that was a new record, guys. Like, it was not even within the first 2 minutes.
Right.
That we
I
already
mean, Jason wasted no time. Just literally, I'm thinking
Jason.
about.
I would have said how I
Jason
felt.
wasted no time. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I was like-
I think we're confused as to
It's
who
like you
has the
had that-
band hammer power.
You had that low, soothing voice, and it was like, yeah.
All right, now
now
we're getting weird. Now we're getting weird. This is at least a 10 minutes into the podcast level of weirdness, guys.
Yeah, it was only like 52 seconds, but being Star Trek will say 47 seconds.
We can't hear you at all right now. Oh, 47, got you.
Ooh, all right. So we do
Okay.
actually have some things to talk about. And I think the 1st thing we're
Mhm.
going to do is probably start with the news because a lot of things have been happening. A lot of good things, mostly bad things.
Right.
And so we'll start with that, and then we are going to move into probably some character discussion, hoping
Yeah.
that we get to see some Strange New Worlds later, depending on what happens. So,
Well,
Keith.
we definitely will see Strange New World season 2 because it's in the can. It's season 3 that is now delayed
Because of the
strike. The Writers Guild of America voted unanimously to go on strike at midnight, May 2nd. Ongoing negotiations with streaming partners, including Paramount Plus, broke down, leading to the stoppage. The previous stoppage was in 2007-2008, which lasted 100 days. Previous to that was the longest strike in 1988. It lasted 53 days and ended up giving us 2 of the worst episodes of The Next Generation.
What? Which episodes were those?
Shades of Grey, the show that ended season 2. Yes.
Also, I'm going to need you to never say that again.
What?
Oh.
50 Shades of Black.
Oh.
No. Like, this is not a porn podcast.
Oh, well, hey.
Well, sometimes.
Anyway, in between seasons.
That's true.
depends-
Shadow
it
of a church.
You know what?
He just took himself out. He committed seppuku.
I'm sorry. I shot
You're
myself
not.
out of an airlock. You're right. I'm not sorry. I'm not. I meant what I did
Or did you
too.
just go to the bathroom?
Hey, I have a question.
The question is, why didn't I take a cold shower that night? That's the real question.
I mean,
I
too
just
busy
watched that.
trying to get laid and failing.
Bro, he took some, what's it called? Ambien. How do you wake up from that? How do you expect me to wake you up from that if you sleep?
I'm still drinking.
Man,
Jermaine,
Jermaine, you mute it.
You're muted, man.
You mute it.
So, Jason, you actually saw that particular episode?
You're talking about with the pack, yeah, like with the pack lid. And
God,
went to the bathroom in the airlock. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
what?
That was an episode of Lower Decks.
Lower Decks. I went to the bathroom.
He ended up going out the airlock. Yeah.
I have to say that, like, I think those are like my favorite episodes with those dudes.
I would love to see you have a conversation with Mariner for some reason.
Who, me?
Yes.
Oh, why?
Tommy,
Let me see what
you'd
happens.
like to be on the show.
I would love to be on the show.
Now.
Yeah, we're not even 5 minutes in, and I'm already. You know what?
We're past 5.
We are past 5. You're right. Like, let me just. It's not like we're reviewing any episodes. Keith. Yeah, it's your turn. Yeah, go ahead and talk.
Okay.
It's like we're not even reviewing the show, and we're already.
Hey, Keith's like, correction, 5 minutes, 23 seconds, sir.
Okay.
We are
Okay.
sending you pointed ears, my dude.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Please
Well,
continue, Keith. Nice
because
hat, by
of-
the way.
Thank you. Because of the writer's strike, that numerous shows have shut down. It's hitting the Star Wars television empire worse than it's hitting Star Trek, because
Whoa.
Andor season 2 was in production, and even though all of it was written, the Tony Gilmore, or the showrunner, decided that he couldn't work on the show and stand with his brethren in the WGA, so that is shut down.
Doesn't Jon Favreau write all that shit?
He runs Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett.
That's it?
Tony
Okay.
Gilmore runs Andor.
It's
because
that's it for me.
He wrote Rogue One, and then Andor's both seasons to lead into that. So, numerous other shows have shut down, including some of the Marvel shows. Daredevil, Born Again, got shut down. Picketers actually shut it down.
Daredevil? Are they making another one?
Yes, they're a new series that's not a sequel to the original one, but it's some of the same actors in a continuation.
You should probably ask Aaron what's going on.
Well, he's on the picket line, as he is one of the WGA writers. Now, apparently, work is still continuing on Lower Decks and Prodigy because they are in the animation stage, and not the writing has been done, and any changes to dialogue that you should need a writer there, but it's not really required. But they are not at the stage for either Lower Decks or Prodigy, although this could still lead to a delay in us getting season 4 of Lower Decks.
I feel them, the writers. I mean, they run into the same issue that musicians ran into when it came to streaming, and both production companies took that advantage to steal money from the actors. Say, hey, wait, there's no law on this, so we're gonna make up the law on this. And they basically stealing the monies from the artists.
Well, the writer's strike in the late 80s was largely to do with the advent of the VHS and VCRs, and wanting to make sure that writers got proper residuals from VHS sales. The writer's strike we had 2007, 2008 was over the first digital releases and DVD sales.
So now we're in streaming.
It's every new medium.
Yeah.
Becomes
a new way to screw the writer out of them getting rightfully paid for their work.
Because there's no
I
laws.
feel like I have heard this before. I feel like I've heard this before. Has this happened like during The Mandalorian or something? Like briefly for like 2 seconds? Or I feel like I'm having strong deja vu right now. Has anything happened in the last 5 years where something similar like this has happened? Very similar. But...
I mean, there's been writer strikes before.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about like I feel like I've heard it like at some point in 2022.
Well, this has been building for the past 3 years.
It's been building. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
And actually, and according to what I read today, the villain in this is Netflix. They are the ones.
This is right here. This is my shocked face. Actually, I take that back. I am legitimately shocked. I'm shocked that it's Netflix and not Disney. And the only reason I can figure that it's Netflix is because Netflix has a larger share.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a huge share. They have the largest share.
Yeah.
Because they were the first one to succeed in this space.
Right.
Well, Dave Chappelle was all like, I fuck with Netflix because they're paying me my money.
Well, but they've been cutting things left and right. They've been cutting popular shows after only running for 2 seasons. And as
yeah,
of,
like Firefly Lane.
Now to the point that it's referred to as the Netflix effect.
Yeah. And as of 2 weeks ago, their DVD service is gone, which was what began Netflix in the beginning.
Yeah, but like, let's be real. Is anybody?
I have a good friend who was
I'm
still
not.
getting DVDs up until 2 weeks ago.
Well,
Yeah, but Keith, we're old.
Does he not have internet?
So he has internet. He just never he liked that service. He never decided to get off of that. So,
like, I'm not gonna lie, I was legitimately sitting down to try to watch some of the Star Trek movies not too long ago, and then I realized I don't actually own a Blu-ray player anymore.
PlayStation.
There was only the last time that I played a DVD. It was after the tornado hit, right? And consequently, about 2 days later, the power goes back on, but it takes like 5 days for the internet to come back on. So to pass the time, I just happen to have DVDs. I just happen to have the DVD/Blu-ray player in the closet. And so I pull it out and we just watched, not old, but like, DVDs, and it was a nice nostalgia feeling. Like I don't regret it, but it's like, we don't really...
I don't regret it.
I mean,
it touched me in weird places, but I don't regret it.
Right, I don't regret it.
That internet goes out.
It's like losing your virginity all over again. You just
your whole life.
It's like you don't quite regret it, but it was like okay. It's like okay, whatever. I guess.
I'm glad yours was okay.
Well, mine was a little traumatic, but it's like it's cool, but it's like whatever.
Well,
anyway, please.
It's kind of like all the kids hated the pandemic, but it's just like, do you realize how much it would have sucked having the pandemic with no internet? Like,
I thought
you have no clue what you would have had to deal with.
Actually, talk to people. Go outside and play.
Well, they might not let you go outside and play. That's the thing. You in your house.
I'm sorry. Talk to people.
Talk.
Maria's still broken from 2020.
Excuse me while I read
the year of hell.
No,
my dad does have like all Voyager and DS9 on DVD that he recorded. All DS9, all Voyagers. That's when I first started watching like reruns.
Which is really funny, actually, because Keith actually talked about a little bit one of the original writer strike in the 80s, which was tied to VHS and the Sony versus Betamax decision, which is exactly why.
I have a question. Happened. Did anyone ever actually get into the Blu-rays? Because I didn't.
Some people.
I did a little bit.
I mean, I have them just so they could look good on my collection wall, but I never really.
No, they weren't that much better. You know what makes DVDs better, and what I do miss about DVDs, just period, is I used to get the ones with all the extras on there, all the back where you behind the scenes and explaining. That's what I used to love.
The value added material.
Yes.
It's like when I used to buy.
If it didn't have 2 DVDs in it, I didn't want it.
Right. That's what I loved about DVD. Yes. Just like when I used to buy cassette tapes, I'd sit on my bed and read the whole booklet of that.
Honestly, back when there were booklets.
Oh man, that's so cool. That's so cool, Keith.
There you go.
Learn the real lyrics of songs.
Man,
especially Michael Jackson songs.
Here's the thing. It was because they called it. I'm not sure what they call it now because we're in streaming, but back then they called it special features. Right.
It was special features.
It was special features, and I would go. This is actually how I got started on my my film and photography and acting career, business or whatever. And I would purposely see like, okay, I want to know what did y'all do to make this Enterprise crash, and that's when I realized learned that they actually had this big 6-foot model on this big terrain and they literally crashed it. Like, it was so cool. No CGI. That's what makes that crash scene like better than the rest.
That's how all of it was like real shit. All this
and I gotta
spaceship explosions were like spaceships getting blown up with fire, actual
the practical effects age so much better.
Which one, so good. Those explosions were so good that they used them in multiple movies.
Right.
I mean, did you know? Of course, because the Klingon ship blew up twice.
Every time
actually 3 times if you count DS9.
Every time a bird of prey was destroyed since 1991, it's been the same explosion.
Same one.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that for a second. Like, because the practical effects age so much better.
Absolutely.
I mean, in the 90s, they didn't really use CGI like that. Like, they actually used real things, like James Cameron did with the Titanic model. Like, he actually built half a ship.
Yep. Even Battlestar Galactica, you see the landing scenes when they come and they land on the ship. All 5 seasons, the same scene of the same ship landing.
Let's go back further. Let's go back a lot further. Let's talk about Liz Taylor in Cleopatra.
Right.
Well, don't bring Cleopatra up. Let's talk about that. Be a whole thing. You talk about Cleopatra. That's a whole.
We're gonna set like the Black Trek and FTP stuff.
Marie, it's okay. Wrong. Marie, it's okay. I actually haven't seen it.
You're not wrong. There's a whole lot of that involved, but like there is this like her entrance into Rome. They had to build that shit.
Yeah.
They actually
get all those people.
And get all those people. I mean, they had to build a writable Sphinx.
Really?
Yeah. If you do nothing after like tonight, after this is done, William, go and like see if you can find some sort of footage of this, because like her entrance into Rome is just amazing. Because for the sheer amount of construction that they had to do.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think what they used to have to do for just some of the most basic shots of building things or just repurposing things. Like classic movie I love to watch, Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
Yes.
The way they were able to create the leprechauns.
Also, God, we're old.
Yeah. You had the main character, you were shooting him reflected in a mirror, and they like scratched out the sides of the mirror so that the little people looked little compared to him with the fourth perspective.
I don't even know what that movie is.
Oh, you need to check it out. It's a Disney Irish movie starring Sean Connery.
Connery, yes.
Oh, Sean Connery, that magnificent douchebag.
Is that the one in that Get Up that's like Harry
No,
Leg?
that's Zardoz.
No, well, there's Zardoz, and then there's also Highlander. So are we talking like...
Well, I know Highlander very well, so I'm not talking about Highlander. I actually like Highlander.
Yeah, Highlander, where he plays an Egyptian with a Spanish name.
An Egyptian with a Spanish name, kind of like Captain Claw from Star Trek V, and he had a whole Spanish accent.
Or like how Christophe Lambert was supposed to be Scottish.
Yeah.
Or Captain Picard.
I knew this was going to bring up Picard.
There you go.
Horrible French. Horrible.
It hurts me every time. Every time. I'm just like, please never say that. Just stop.
So what more news do we have?
I cannot watch Stardust City Greg again for that reason. I just can't.
All right. Let me jump ahead of my news list. It's something that came out this week and shared. So last week, Paramount Global announced they did a good news, bad news. Good news, where they're up to 77 million subscribers on Paramount Plus. Bad news, they lost $1 billion last year.
How many subscribers is that they lost?
No, they didn't.
Where'd they lose the money for too? Where'd they lose?
Yeah, where did that money go?
A certain show that had to completely rebuild a set from a 1990s television show.
Yeah.
and
you're saying they lost the money because they had to rebuild the Enterprise?
No, well, that was one of the biggest expenditures they had this past year was rebuilding the Enterprise D set.
Oh, it couldn't have cost
$1 billion. It was worth it. It was worth it.
It didn't cost $1 billion. It cost several million though, but various other things contributed to them.
I mean, totally worth it for a couple of million to rebuild the bridge, but like, where did the 100 billion come from?
No, 1 billion.
1 billion, so 100 million, right?
Man,
or is it 1,000 million?
My cousins could have made that bridge for $500.
Honestly, if you'd have put me and Jason and Jermaine in charge, we would have done it for $10.
Yeah. They could have got us off Fiverr.
So let's talk about it. Like one of the suggestions has been that Wells Fargo, the devil that owns my mortgage, has made the suggestion that what Paramount should do, rather than be an independent streaming service and producing its own independent content, is that it should be like Sony and basically portion out its IP to other producers.
Right.
Portion
what do we
out
think
its
about
IP.
that?
What does that mean?
So, Keith, go ahead.
Well, it would be basically they'd say, "All right, we're going to like what they did with Discovery and Picard when they first started, where Netflix had one and Amazon had the other before CBS All Access was nationwide."
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that you would put all of Star Trek out for bid for some other streaming service, because as the analyst for Wells Fargo pointed out, Paramount Plus is in a bitter fight for 5th place in the streaming market.
Well, that's what it is. They wanted to have Paramount Plus be a streaming service for them, and they used Star Trek for sort of the catalyst for viewers.
So what's Paramount Plus doing wrong?
Because nobody else is buying Paramount Plus besides Star Trek people.
Well, the argument, I mean, a lot of people say Paramount Plus has one of the worst user interfaces of the streaming service.
Because nobody
because
watches
it does.
Because
it does.
It's not great, but I wouldn't say it's the worst.
What do you watch besides Star Trek on it? Very little.
On Paramount Plus?
Yeah.
Literally nothing.
I watched Halo. I watched that
I
on
did suffer
Hulu.
through Halo.
I watched that on Hulu.
But that was a Paramount Plus production. And then other people were watching Yellowstone. I never got into that.
I love Yellowstone. Absolutely.
Which I heard.
I hear really great things about it. Like everything that cycles through on like my Facebook Reels looks
Yellowstone.
Isn't Kevin Costner leaving that?
Yeah.
No, Harrison Ford.
90, whatever.
No, that's the prequel series, 1923.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
They did 2 prequel series, 1885 and 1923, and Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren is the star of 1923, and it's supposedly really, really good. I just haven't had interest to watch it.
They need to get Harrison Ford on Star Trek.
Guys, I'm kind of in the middle of Blacklist right now, so.
Okay.
Oh.
But I think that's a valid point, right? Like, I mean, because one of the things that Paramount has been relying on actually is a wealth of unscripted reality TV type content.
RuPaul, definitely.
Well, first of all, they're late to the game. They're like the last ones that have their own streaming.
No, that would be Peacock.
Okay, but how many people have Peacock?
I would only get on Peacock just to watch Chucky, and that's it.
That's what I'm saying. Like both those, Paramount Plus and Peacock, should have just been like, well, we're kind of late to this game. Let's do something else. They're gonna wait till everybody else.
NBC.
Yeah, but what are we gonna do? Like,
first of all, Disney has a reason to do it because they've got a shitload of content everybody wants to see.
Well, Disney has 2 of the top 4 streaming services because they own most of Hulu and all of Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And as of today, they're being merged together.
Well, since Paramount is merged with Showtime, doesn't that make them like equal competitors or something?
Not enough.
The problem is just that Showtime has been struggling for a long time, which is one of the reasons that it got merged. And what Paramount's really struggling with is that they don't have a side gig, if you will. Like Disney has the parks. Disney has still, as far as I know, sweeping investments in porn, which is always a great way to keep yourself afloat.
I keep forgetting that.
Really?
Amazon Prime obviously is built off of Amazon, the monster. So there are all of these things where like those streaming services can afford to lose money, if you will, because they become a write-off for a more profitable venture.
Yeah, that's the chief competitors for Paramount Plus at 5th place is Peacock and Amazon has all of its other shit, and Peacock is part of NBC, Comcast, Universal.
Yes.
So it's got the theme parks, it's got Comcast Cable, it's got the Philadelphia Flyers and other sports teams.
So
first of all, Amazon could lose all their video streaming and no one would care. The same people would still have Amazon Prime.
Just as long as we finish Marvelous Mrs. Maisel first.
I'm sitting here thinking I kind of want to see season 2 of Good Omens, but okay.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, by the way, that is not delayed by the writers' strike. It is finished in the can and it will be out July 28th.
Good Omens or Invincible?
Good Omens.
Also Invincible. I did love Invincible.
Invincible's supposed to come out.
Are y'all forgetting about The Boys on Amazon? Like
I haven't gotten into The Boys yet.
Oh,
I've only
know The
seen that
Boys is
one
good.
crazy scene where the dude's dick exploded.
The Boys
you
is
gotta.
good.
I mean, every
No.
Boys is
So The
crazy.
Boys is phenomenal. So I am and am not excited about The Boys because I was a huge comic fan. Like I actually subscribed to the comic like when it was serialized, and I have really loved watching how they update it. But some of the stuff that the actors have kind of gotten up to recently have kind of turned me off of the project.
Well, you can't go comparing medium. I mean,
are you that upset that Carl Urban is in Mortal Kombat now?
Yes, that's clearly the problem I'm talking about. It's not at all Homelander.
I read a comment somewhere saying that Homelander was gone. Was that the actor or was that the character himself?
Anthony Starr is still on it.
Yeah, and so Anthony Starr's been up to some shenanigans. Like, for example, I'm not going to like some of the stuff that Ezra Miller has been up to. Like, that's one of the many reasons I've kind of pulled away from watching those DC properties.
I'm watching the Flash movie for one reason and one reason only: Michael Keaton.
I mean, that's literally the only reason.
I heard it was a great movie though. Regardless,
yes,
all reports have been.
I mean, it's the only reason I watched No Way Home. Tobey Maguire.
Just come out with the movie, and at the end of it, kill off Ezra Miller and replace him with Grant Gustin, and we're all good.
Yo, and honestly,
why did we not do that from the beginning?
Honestly, as soon as season 9 hits Netflix, I'm canceling my subscription after I finish season 9 of Flash. Then I'm done. I'm done. But then I gotta discipline myself not to resubscribe. So
wait, isn't it on the WB though?
CW.
The CW.
CW, which is also shutting down.
Yes.
The CW is shutting down too. I understand
dying.
It's been 13 years, but I didn't know they were going to take all of it with them.
No, it just lost 5 of its franchises. Just shut down and became independent stations, and in 5 major markets, and it's taking a huge step back now.
So who's absorbing CW then?
It's just disappearing.
Oh no!
The show's got to go somewhere.
Really, what's happening is Warner Brothers Discovery, that mass that's screwing up HBO Max now.
So pretty much
soon to be
in one
Max.
big brawl.
Yeah, soon to be Max. Yes.
So effectively, literally, what we're watching is we're watching the streaming version of like the Blu-ray versus HD DVD situation.
Well, we're seeing what happened when cable first came out, and we're basically back to where we were 30 years ago when it was ABC, CBS, NBC, and then Fox decided they were going to stick their head in, and we're having that fight now between Netflix, it's Disney Plus.
The thing is that people started streaming to save money from cable.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now it costs more.
You're only going to have so many streaming services. You're going to cut yourself off at some point. You're not going to have 7 streaming services that you're going to pay for, and nobody's
going to have at least
Netflix.
3.
You can have 3, but nobody's beating Netflix, and probably Hulu is up there, and Disney. Like those 3 right there, most people are going to have. Everybody has Amazon Prime anyway, but Netflix, Hulu, and Disney, people are going to have, and everybody else is trying to catch up. It's like, no, you got to figure out something else, man.
So that raises the question. Like, as Star Trek fans, we have been recently experiencing an incredible renaissance in our primary fandom. Mm-hmm. If we lose Paramount Plus, where's that going to go?
I think it's going to take all our Trek fans by half, because you got to remember of the hell we went through just to get here in the first place, from Netflix to CBS to the back and forth and all that mess.
I have the emotional scars. I know.
Right. Well, so how much more can we take, Because I thought this was going to be a 7 to 10 year Trek Renaissance run, but now it's like, what? Come on now. Don't mess this up. We already, I understand, we can only see Picard for so long, but we already lost Discovery. We already lost Picard. Like, what else are we going to lose? Like,
I think we're spoiled enough to be crying about losing one of.
It's been 3 years. I'm not spoiled.
One of 6. One of 6 series that we get to watch.
Y'all had like 20 years. I've had 3.
We had 20 years, but we had 1 show.
Like, y'all had shows that overlapped each other though, and movies,
and it blew our minds.
Right. I've had
years. But to the point, assuming Paramount Plus folds, right, and they don't decide to sell off the property, we get nothing.
Yeah,
that means all of it is just going to go away.
No, they'll still sell the shows to somebody.
Well, now
you might not have everything, but you will have something.
The fact that they have a football contract right now means that they're not going anywhere until that football deal expires.
When you say football contract, like, are we talking about like
Paramount Plus is able to stream the games that the NFL signed with CBS?
Yes.
Any games that were appearing on the CBS terrestrial station can be streamed on Paramount Plus.
How many years will that last?
Those are usually 3 to 5 year contracts. Okay. And they're only a couple years into it. But
so they either have 1 or 3.
Yeah. Now we have a kind of a crossover with another sci-fi nerd fandom that has been struggling with this, and that is Doctor Who. BBC has been dealing with huge cutbacks over in Britain because of the Conservative government. And I'm saying the Tory party, the Conservative Party government, not necessarily their.
No, we know. Yeah. You're good.
Well, I'm explaining to the audience. So BBC, when it came to working with America, there was BBC America that what was supposed to be their avenue to us, and they ended up selling Doctor Who to HBO. So all of a sudden, the past 3 seasons of Doctor Who were stuck behind the HBO subscription wall. So all the seasons we had of Jodie Whittaker, it's the 13th Doctor. If you didn't have HBO, you didn't have it.
So that's on HBO right now?
Yes. But
I didn't know it was even sold.
Just expired.
Oh, it just expired. So where is it?
Which means it's going away, yeah.
Yeah, so they are about to. She stepped out. I mean, her time as the Doctor is over, and this is the 60th anniversary year. So David Tennant is back in as the now 14th Doctor. He already was the 10th and 10th B Doctor.
Yeah, and they're gonna have like 3 specials.
Yeah, it's only 3 specials this year.
So they're gonna find some way to explain all this, right?
Well, right. Yes.
Okay.
But for starting this year, it's now going to be on Disney Plus.
Oh, damn.
Because HBO's contract expired, and now Disney Plus has bought it.
Oh.
Now, Disney, when Tennant was the Doctor the first time, when he was the 10th Doctor, Disney did buy the rights to re-show his episodes on Disney XD, the network, partially because they were then bringing him in as Scrooge McDuck on the new DuckTales, and they figured if we can get if kids are watching DuckTales and hearing his voice, they will like him as Doctor Who as well.
I mean, ignoring the fact that one had an English accent and one was his native Scottish.
Yeah,
and one's a duck.
That sounds like something Jason would say, and one was a duck.
I mean, that is once again Jason's
you're not
perfect,
wrong.
like deadpan delivery.
Priceless.
I'm just saying is all.
Yeah.
I would love them to bring. I would love to see a Matt Smith return, but probably won't get that. He's getting a lot of work out there.
Oh yeah, he's too busy making Morpheus too. No, he's not.
Well, I was gonna say what.
But yeah. So we can see what's happening. I mean, Star Wars is safe on Disney, even though there was a rumor a couple months ago that Lucasfilm was going to be dumped by Disney. It was like the same thing we see if someone putting out a YouTube video every month saying Kurtzman's been fired, Discovery's been canceled.
So it's probably just like clickbait.
Except Discovery did get canceled.
Disney is not getting ready. Disney is not getting rid of Star Wars.
No,
there's no way.
No way.
No, they still haven't recouped their initial investment from Lucasfilm. I mean, they literally drove up trucks of money.
Yep.
I guess they didn't get some hacker to get some laptop and just do a $5 billion transfer, huh?
No, it was a truckload of money. George likes to swim in it, like Scrooge McDuck.
So he's Uncle Scrooge.
I'm pretty sure they drove up several trucks of money and then lit one on fire just to demonstrate their seriousness. Like I'm pretty sure
this is giving Dark Knight Joker. Just light it on fire.
That was a truck full of Canadian money.
And then Melody Hobson just swimming.
How do you swim in money?
I mean, ask
never
David
know.
Tennant. Like, you know, like.
Jermaine, would you swim in money if you could?
If I had the money to do it, I definitely would.
Oh, not after COVID. It's so dirty.
And wear a mask.
Hey, there's been far worse stuff than COVID on our money for a long time now.
Hello.
Did you know our cell phones are actually the dirtiest thing that we keep around us?
Yes.
I would say belt buckles.
No.
Not
Ew.
belt buckles, man. Like what?
Ew. I'm just not thinking about it. Ew.
This thing, you always wash your hands.
Oh, I was thinking about something else.
After you touch your belt buckle when you go to the bathroom.
I don't even want to know.
Marie, I love you. I love you, Marie.
I don't even want to know.
Okay. Otherwise, in the news list.
I don't know what Waffers over there thinking about.
All right.
He went to go check his belt buckle.
Good news or bad news?
You're right.
Good news or bad news? What do you guys want next? Good news or bad news?
Is there
good
bad
news?
news?
Because thus far I haven't really gotten.
So far, this has really been sucky news, and we got to get into the at least talk about the Strange New Worlds characters. Like,
all right, let me finish the bad news. There's only one more bad news item.
Okay.
That's like getting arrested and your lawyer comes.
Bad news. Uma is in jail, y'all.
Like, I'm already in jail, dude. What are you talking about? Bad news. But go ahead. Sorry.
IDW, the holder of Trek Comics rights, laid off 39% of its workforce last week. Half of their editorial staff, the entire marketing and PR team, and after a 44% drop in revenue in the first quarter of 2023 from the previous year. They were the 5th largest comic book publisher, but not anymore. And with their drop, they were delisted from the New York Stock Exchange. In addition to Star Trek, IDW also holds the rights to Sonic the Hedgehog, My Little Pony, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Godzilla.
Damn.
Their entertainment wing is shutting down after several lucrative deals with Netflix as they produce the series Winona Earp and Lock and Key, which have both finished their runs.
Who's got the Airbender?
Nickelodeon.
Anyway,
which is Paramount Plus.
Yes.
Right. They need to get on that if they want to make some money. You know what? I don't
know how I feel about losing IDW.
I wouldn't be surprised if these guys are steadfast in figuring out how to get AI just to draw their shit and how soon they can make that happen.
Well, considering the Google I/O conference, I watched a video summarizing the first day of the conference, 14 seconds, and it was just them saying AI over and over again.
Mm-hmm. It's coming.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and that's going to be a huge fight.
Absolutely.
And here we go with another, like this is what you're poking at, Marie. Like another fight with the lawyers and the writers and the artists and what's legal to do and not to do.
And like technology and technology keeps pushing the envelope. And the problem is that there's an adage in the legal field, hard cases make bad law. And what we're looking at is we're about to look at some industry redefining moments.
Yeah.
Yes. Part of the conference, Google noted that they're going to, any AI images created using their software, they're going to start putting watermarks on it to differentiate that this is an AI generated image. But it doesn't take much for those to be removed if someone is determined enough to try to make them. Or, of course, use any other software that's not going to do the same restriction.
The crazy thing is they've often made these laws after this technology has come out.
Of course.
But now you can you think you could jump ahead and be like, okay, well, let's think about this before this happens. But now the applications are so varied and variable that you can never really predict how it's going to be used and what laws should be made about them until it's actually someone's actually done it and complained about it.
And that's actually the problem with law, right? Is law is very proscriptive. It is reactionary.
Yeah.
Precisely because our legal, at least as far as the common law system and American jurisprudence, because that's what I work with, it tends to err in favor of allowing a situation to unfold before making a decision. Because, y'all, we don't want to abridge activities before they occur.
The Supreme Court's going to be reporting out their on a case involving a law on the Clean Air and Clean Water Act, in which Congress wrote it into the law, a vague statement about being able to police future producers of pollution. And when they wrote that in the 70s, they had no idea what would be coming in the years to come. The Carter administration saw it one way. The Reagan administration and every administration since saw it an opposite way. And that has led to different court rulings. And now the Supreme Court's getting to rule again. And
in this particular court is exactly the wrong court to do that. I mean, there's a reason that, a patent legislation and litigation doesn't go before the Supreme Court because they're bad at it.
Yeah.
They literally do not understand technology. We know they don't.
Absolutely.
Hey guys, quick question. Right after we cover the news, can we spend the last 15 minutes talking about what might be to come for Strange New Worlds? Maybe talk about a few characters. Please.
That's the plan.
No.
I got through the hard stuff now.
No,
yes. Yes.
No, because I'm being facetious, obviously, teasing you with that. But I do think this is interesting because Star Trek has been at this kind of interesting nexus point with the development of technology and pushing the envelope forward and talking about what we want the world to look like. And I think the problem is that we're running into an issue with capitalism and an issue with and how capitalism and technology, where that nexus lies. And if you think about it, that's a very Trek kind of concept.
Yeah. I was watching a YouTube video from a couple of years ago by Steve Stivers on his channel about why do conservatives like Star Trek?
I still don't get it.
Well, his reasoning is because they see this beautiful future and they look, and that gives them hope, seeing, someday we'll figure it out, but let's keep on doing what we're doing now because someday we'll figure it out.
I kind of want to hear their views on it when Deanna talks to Mr. Clemens about there ain't no poverty no more. We kind of took care of all of that. I really want to hear their viewpoint on that.
Well, they keep saying all that social justice stuff was hidden in allegory, and no, it wasn't.
Or maybe their views on World War III and First Contact.
Half black, half white. Yeah.
But his was on the left side.
Yeah.
Honestly, Enterprise did a really good job at highlighting xenophobia.
I gotta tell you, that's a phrase I don't usually hear.
What, Enterprise did a good job?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I love it. I was gonna say Enterprise did a good job at everything. How about that? Just about.
No.
Well,
Jolene Blaylock would say otherwise.
And in many ways she was correct. Because she and Hoshi got the short end of those sticks.
Hoshi did die on that planet, didn't she?
Hoshi did, but I wouldn't say that. What's her name?
Jolene Blaylock. I mean, I'm sorry. There was the
cat suit.
The decontamination gel.
Yes. The number of times she had to remove or lift her shirt.
When I go to a Comic-Con, I'm just gonna be ripped with nothing but Trip underwear on and just have a bunch of blue gel all over me.
I love it.
I didn't mind it at all.
Thank you.
I didn't mind it that one bit.
So there is a place for that, and it's called Archive of Our Own.
No.
Don't you want to be remembered?
She has some of that blue gel in her house.
Oh my. Okay, fine. What Strange New Worlds characters do we want to do since we're going to talk about weird pornography?
Uma's ass is in jail, but you and I both know she's going to get out on the first episode.
Oh wait, are we doing characters today?
That's what the title says. So
no, you keep your shirt on.
Who, Travis Merriweather?
I got
Travis is so damn fine. Oh God.
Yeah, but that character,
I would take him and Trip any damn day.
His character is terrible. Travis Mayweather.
Yeah, the character.
His acting was bad.
His acting was bad. He was a boy. Leave him alone.
I don't know.
His acting was bad. His scripts were bad.
It's because he couldn't act.
I have a special guest star.
It's because he couldn't act.
What?
Whoops.
Right. Whoa,
Who
what was
is that? I see a floating head. Who?
That is a floating head. This is Thomas.
I thought that was
Hi, Thomas.
Hey, Thomas?
I thought that was Nagila.
Thomas.
No.
All I saw was a head.
I saw it was a
Yes.
floating head, and I didn't know what that was. I thought it was like another bad costume from TNG season 2.
No, this is a straight up
Shut up,
TOS
Dylan.
moment. Like Thomas is the floating head. Like in a minute, he's going to like start yelling at Charlie X. Like that's how that's gonna go.
He does look like a Thomas. Kind of reminds me of Thomas the Tank Engine, and I'm here for it. Like,
Okay.
I'm literally not gonna tell him that.
okay,
Look at Jermaine moving it forward.
yes, moving forward. Yes, Uma's in jail.
Una.
Una,
Una.
right?
Yeah, I
I'm
was
sorry.
Like,
I'm
Uma
sorry.
Thurman? Like, what? Who?
I love Uma Thurman. I don't know why, but I know it's Una, but I keep thinking Uma Thurman. I don't
All
know
you
why.
hear is Uma Thurman. No, Una is in jail. Like,
Because
but if
Uma
did
Thurman
do a
is a
comic
badass.
series.
But she gets out, right? I saw her.
Yeah.
I mean,
Of
there's
course,
no
she
way.
gets out.
There's
In
no
every
way.
trailer, she is not in jail. Like,
Well, they did show her trial.
they show her they're gonna do it the way they did Mariner's mother. Like, you're just gonna get out on the first episode and not even worry about it. Like, screw the social complexities of the situation or the xenophobia of it all. Like, they're just gonna sweep it. I guarantee they're gonna sweep it under the rug because they know what we want. But I would have personally loved to see how her trial would have progressed anything in terms of eugenics, like that led up to Dr. Bashir,
Well,
Because we absolutely
I don't
know.
think
Well,
so.
it didn't
We're-
I
lead.
don't think so.
It didn't lead up to Dr. Bashir. Like,
well,
Dr.
I mean, because
Bashir was something that wasn't supposed to happen as well. He wasn't
Right,
supposed
but
to be there.
I guess
go ahead.
At least what we learned, nothing really changed by the time that Bashir came along. So what I'm asserting is that basically Pike was just like, nah, you're gonna let her out, and let me tell you why you're gonna let her out, and
He's
blah
gonna
blah blah, and then she's gonna get out.
well,
I feel that Pike is gonna have
Meaning-
something on them.
yeah.
Meaning no laws are gonna change whatsoever. They're gonna keep
Mhm.
everything in place.
They're going
So
to just
it-
conveniently forget that she's genetically modified.
So if you can't bail her out, if you can't law her out, the only thing you can do left is blackmail. So clearly we need some sort of Starfleet Olivia Pope to come in.
Okay.
Well, what they tried to
you
do
say
in the
who?
comic book series, the
Somebody say
Illyrian
who?
Enigma,
Or maybe this is where Michelle Yeoh will make a cameo appearance and make some stuff happen.
It would be nice to see her make a cameo appearance.
They're like, hey, I dropped in for like 2 seconds. You're gonna let her out, or I'm gonna mess some things up.
Because that fits in her timeline, right? Her
I'm
current
so
No, it
proud
timeline.
of you. That was so.
It doesn't? Where's
genuine.
her
actually,
timeline?
it does, technically, yeah.
I think it does.
Okay, so for the rest of the characters, what we got going?
Wait, do we want to focus on 2 since we only have about like?
Well,
10?
we didn't prepare for it. Nobody prepared. If we prepared, we could have did a whole.
So
half
why
hour
don't we
on one
talk
person.
about Mabenga, because I really want to. I have questions.
Oh, the
about-
doctor. The
I wanna-
doctor. Oh
I
my
have
god.
Questions about where we're going to go with Mabenga, right? Because Mabenga is currently chief medical officer. What the hell happens to get him demoted?
And then
He
we
gets
know it's
demoted?
not his daughter. Yeah. Yeah, because Bones takes over as chief medical officer, and Babega stays on the ship just as a lower level doctor. And I
And
thought,
mostly because he's the only one who can fuck with like Spock's bizarre genetics.
It must be something about that shit that's convincing him to stay, because clearly his daughter's gone.
yeah, I thought it was going to be something about his daughter
Right?
that would cause him.
Yeah,
to
daughter
get
done fooled
demoted.
around and became a Q.
Yeah, but she's gone now.
Yeah.
She's gone. She
And
became a prophet.
apparently, he kisses Chapel at some point this season. From
He
the
does?
I mean, I would like to see Chapel get laid.
On the lip.
yes,
Chapel needs to get laid because there's a lot of sexual frustration tension between her and Spock.
well, there's
No.
supposed to be
Did you say
another
Spot?
character introduced
Spot.
either this season or the following for Chapel.
Yeah,
Dr.
no,
Richard Corby.
Chapel's got a secret thing for cats. Yes, Jason.
I would lose my girl virginity to Chapel.
Just Bush.
I'm not sure what that means.
It's not
Oh.
like there's a really, like, it's just that.
Do we have 2 virginities?
Yeah,
We
I've
might-
lost one of them so far. To a guy. I hadn't slept with a girl.
We
yet.
know, dear. We know. We were there for the shadows of the church, man.
Yeah. Well, I made out with plenty, but it's like, you know what? I'm gonna stop because I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
I'm gonna get
Yeah.
booted.
You,
So
you don't have to. I mean, I guess you got the floor.
This is not a time for him to hold the conch. Okay.
Was it on the floor?
Dr. Mabenga.
Who are you on the floor?
I have to put this on Game Industry News, guys, and this is gonna be this whole conversation.
I literally had 5 different jokes I could have said at any point, but I'm gonna be good, and we got 10 minutes left, so let's keep talking.
What we call that, William? We call that personal growth.
It is personal growth, and I'm doing good. Notice I don't have anything to drink.
Wonderful. Why not? I do.
I like the alcohol's the problem.
We're gonna leave Sebastian alone out of this, okay?
It's a mask for the real problem.
All right, so we've talked about Mabenga, and like that's a big question, and I really want that to get answered because
who?
Mabenga.
No. Who's Carlos?
He's a person.
Hello, Carlos.
I'm not finding any of the Strange New Worlds personas interesting.
It's probably the first person I've heard someone say something about the Strange New Worlds characters.
I like
it. You know, please understand I say this with respect and affection as a fellow Trek nerd, but you're wrong.
Well, everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Here's my thing.
He's not wrong about his opinion.
Here's my thing. It's like Carlos, present your case, because the reason I like somewhat disagree until you present your case is because I actually remember the names of the Strange New Worlds characters. I still don't remember the names of the people on Discovery.
I knew this was coming.
I'm sorry. Other than like the top 3, you know.
So it's hard for someone, who's typing to present that case well. So Carlos, since you're watching, how about you join us?
Oh, this ought to be good.
Yeah. What?
I'm ready for this.
On camera?
Yeah.
We're about to have a party.
Well, you don't have to turn on your camera, but you're welcome to join us.
Yeah, you're welcome to you're welcome to join in on the part of like the audio only. And we can hear you.
All depending on how much you're willing to contribute. Yeah.
I promise I will not boot you out.
Well, at least we live in a world of character development, right?
This is true.
Yeah.
TNG had zero
honestly
character development.
I will say this about Uhura. Remember that there was this part where her and Spock were like doing some engineering stuff in TOS. Now we know where she gets her engineering experience from, which they literally tied. I'm like, beautiful.
I mean, I love what they're doing with her.
Speaking of characters, are they bringing Andorian dude back?
No, he's gone.
Carlos.
He died.
Carlos.
But I saw him.
I think Carlos is naked in bed.
Oh,
and this got real weird real fast.
Dang.
Not returning.
And I'm not invited to the party.
New chief engineer.
Speaking of dirty belt buckles.
Yeah, we need a new chief engineer. Who's our new chief engineer?
World-class comedian Carol.
We're gonna get Scotty.
Well, no, we're not getting Scotty.
No, there's no way.
We're not.
We're getting Carol Kane.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
And I am so excited. I have to admit, I'm so excited to see Carol Kane as like the chief engineer of the Enterprise. Like that's going to be amazing.
Who's Carol Kane again?
I'm
bad with names. I'm terrible with names. You know what? I'll Google.
All right, Princess.
You just heard me.
I did.
I'm your wife.
Oh, okay. I'm back. What?
He's a comedian?
Yeah.
I mean,
he was
you mean Carol Kane.
To be fair, it worked in the Abrams verse because Simon Pegg.
Yes.
That part.
Right.
I love her, and I loved her in Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and other things I've seen her. Like I love her. Okay, I'm back.
I really appreciate that it took a line from The Princess Bride to bring you on.
I mean, like, because it's like I'm terrible with names. You just got to give me one reference and I'm there.
Well, what's funny is it's such a small part, but it's so memorable.
Honestly, this woman's gonna make the show. She's gonna make the show.
I'm really looking forward to it because, like, we've seen such really great, and I don't mean to take this away from you, Jermaine, but we've seen such really great sort of character development with these characters that we didn't get a chance to get to know in TOS. I mean, for example, like T'Pring has come out of nowhere. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, how about the fact that we've had 50 plus years of Uhura, and we're
just now
background. I mean, it wasn't until 2009 that she got a first name.
Did Nichelle Nichols live long enough to meet her counterpart?
Yeah, she met Celia.
Thank goodness. Okay.
Yeah, but Jermaine, you had something to say, and I didn't mean to take that away.
The Andorian engineer was much better. So what I wanted to comment on was the fact that Marie, help me out. I don't remember her real name. Tig Notaro.
Jet Reno, but Tig Notaro is her real name.
So I think that they found comedy gold with that character and thought, we have the opportunity to bring in another female engineer. Why don't we do something similar to kind of play off of what Pike is giving us? You know what I'm saying? Like he's kind of like Mr. Comedian on the show, and so it would be great to see the two of them bounce off of each other.
She's got like this really dry humor. It's definitely not like in your face.
I would love to see her have a conversation with Spock.
I would like to see, because Carol Kane has specialized in this very sort of like unraveled.
She outdid Andy Kaufman on Taxi.
She did.
Oh, right.
I remember Taxi.
Humperdinck.
Yes, she did. And she's had this long and storied career.
That was not me. I don't know what that is.
An absentee engineer on the show.
Well, they
around.
had her when
Mostly because Tig is super busy.
Yes.
And it works because she's not chief engineer. Carol
Somebody in your house, bro?
is going to be chief engineer.
Right. And Will has friends.
That's cute.
I mean, apparently it is.
We want to hug too.
It is the week for guest stars.
All right for the shorts.
We are interested in that. Why didn't you tell me I was on the show? Oh my God, I gotta get out of here.
Buy Will's friend shirts.
I'm glad he didn't come in like
my friend Thomas is like,
Never
what
mind.
are you people doing? He's not wrong. We don't know either.
Anyway, let's get back to our show and let's get off the Will Walford show.
Okay, anyway. Hi.
It is always the Will Walford show.
So so that was my friend Alex. Remember I told you about that roommate?
We do. Yeah. Not on air.
So
So was that did we luck out on the probability of him walking in with pants on, or did we that like
hey, look, I mean, I want to.
The last one had a robe on. I mean, I just wanted to know.
I mean, I kind of had a feeling I at least needed to do this for Jermaine and Marie. Like, at least take a good look at him as them cheeks were walking out the door. So
look! I
don't know about the cheeks.
Outro sequence. I found beautiful bean footage.
We literally got 2.5 minutes left. Wait. Okay.
You don't look better.
I'm
You don't look better
sorry.
than the whore.
Oh God.
You don't look better than a whore.
Y'all people. You people.
That wasn't me, I promise. That wasn't me. Welcome back, Keith. Oh God. I'm so hot right now.
Keith, what do you got for us today?
Okay, Carlos.
Like you
Oops, sorry. Go ahead, Jermaine.
The only two characters I like so far are Una and Pike.
I mean, you got to. Here's my thing. Here's my thing.
Spock.
Here's my thing.
Spock's done to death.
With this Spock, with Ethan Peck, respect to the actor and everything. This is his version of Spock. Is the first time I actually agree with Jadzia Dax. Like, bro, he's hot. Like, he can get it. Like, or in this case, give it. But because
hey, ladies back in his day was feeling them. So, you know what you're saying, bro.
I mean,
all types
I'm feeling what Ethan is giving too.
I mean, y'all saw that one shirtless scene. I saw that one shirtless scene, and I was just like, baby.
Oof.
Well, I know you say Spock is done to death, but one reason why we have this show is because Spock is on it.
I mean, because we've never had a young Spock.
So
yeah, we have.
So wait, Jason, this is like, even though you're not really doing it, this is the closest that you've ever come to saying, I appreciate this particular character. I've never heard you come this close before.
See, now we're getting somewhere. Please.
Wait, I didn't say I didn't like having Spock on the show. I just said that what they give us, I feel like, is more emotional than I think we should have. I think he's too emotional.
He's a 20-year-old Spock.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're continuing to bridge the gap between Spock in the cage and Spock.
I mean, at first it was
Exactly.
Worf, but now
Before.
Spock is the longest standing Trek character in all of Trek now.
Why can't we just say Spock in the cage is not canon? Why can't we just say that's not canon? Let's get rid of it.
We don't do that. We're not Star Wars people. We don't do that. We don't just look at something and just.
No, they didn't get rid of it because then they cut it into 2 other episodes.
I'm saying they did get rid of it.
You're right. Young Spock was in the first pilot TOS because he had longer hair back then.
They just didn't know.
And he had emotion.
He had emotions. He had emotions.
They didn't know what they were doing.
They didn't know what they were doing. No. You see, you're rewriting canon.
No, y'all can't take it back now. Like, here's the thing: the only thing that they managed to leave out of the original pilot was Pike's 10% misogyny. Like that's what they left out. Everything else they kept.
Yes.
Except
the conversation of she is too unemotional. That's why she's on the bridge.
Oh! And I literally just watched it the other day. Actually, yeah, that one girl. She was a terrible actress. She just did this. It was so weird. But another thing was that was the only time in all of Star Trek that I ever seen anyone write on with pen and paper in the future.
Yeah.
Like they literally had like a printer fax machine. They had a whole fax machine, and he took it out, put it on a tablet, and wrote on it. Like I was like, and you never saw it again. You never saw it again.
Yeah, because they realized it was stupid.
Right. Like I said.
Now, speaking of that character, though, there are now 3 videos available from the Roddenberry archive under the name 765874.
Yay, we get Star Trek Generations 2.
Yeah. With the last video being released right after the end of Picard, showing Spock visiting the grave of Kirk. And
which there is already a book about that, I think.
Yes, The Return, written by Shatner.
No. I'm talking about that too, but I'm talking about the graphic novel. I think I have it.
Okay. But it also showed them, getting the Enterprise D from saucer section off of Meridian 3. But that was the third in a series of videos where they have an actress who looks very similar to the actress who played Yeoman Colt in The Cage. And following her character, and the name of the series 765874 is her service number in Starfleet. And she had a whole storyline in the comics in which she went to the future and then came back. So that these videos that the Roddenberry archive, working with a company called OTOY, has been putting together, and it's beautifully done, creating a sort of VR experience for you to be able to become part of the Cage.
Hey, we got to get on VR at some point.
Oh yeah, for sure.
One.
Yeah.
Can we all play the Star Trek game together?
That's the point.
I know, Jason. I know.
All right, folks. We are 1 hour and 3 minutes, and I think it is possibly time for Beautiful Bean footage, but we will obviously be here again next week, same bad time, same bad channel, and we will be probably continuing this conversation because I do really want to talk a little bit more about the Roddenberry archive.
I would love to talk about that next week for sure.
Awesome.
Since we don't use writers,
I love it. Yeah.
Oh my God, Jason is trying to mug us.
He wouldn't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not gonna ever say it on the internet. Yeah, never. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Wait. There was a shadow of a church.
Okay. What?
William has questionable
I didn't
ideas
catch
about
that
what he
one.
puts. William has questionable ideas about what he puts on the internet.
Oh, I remember that episode.
Uh-huh.
I remember that episode. Yeah.
There's Larry David.
Wait. What? Wait.